it's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get... Tonight we'll be talking about it.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash, found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken, I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, we're back live here, and looks like everything is a go as we're getting set and ready for the big blocks here tonight. As you see, Brody Plotz there in at 196, trying to make his way around out there as we got them coming up here. Gonna be getting checker flag here just in a moment as we, sorry about those folks that were watching the 358s that we didn't quite get the last 3 laps, but we're going to get that straightened out here as things get situated out here on front. You got Clay Christopherson joining in, Brandon Dittberg joining in, Chase Matsko out there in the number 26 machine, as Anthony Morano down there on the bottom side. Just waiting for the word that the session gets advanced. They Plots down there working off the corner. Getting ready for the start here. Just a few more moments, and then I'm sure we'll be getting underway. Checker flag is waving. Anthony Morano, first one out to qualify. As we said, down there on the bottom side of the screen, you can see Bob the Good. He's got pink. Alex Pomeloy now has the pink as they come down there off of the section 1, or off of section 2. So Pomeloy running, not Pomeloy, Plotz running a great time. We're waiting to see how the times roll in here. Bob the Good laying down a 16.20. Anthony Morano, John Morano laid down a 16.144. Anthony Morano with a 16.382. Matt Barber out front in that 16 machine with a 16.092 for that. As they roll down here off the corner. Anthony Morano there in second. Dean Reynolds there fourth. John Morano there fifth. As it stands right now. As times are coming in, waiting on other drivers to come in. There you see the 39, now the 21 of John Dubai. And there's the 75T of Trevor Garou. Mike Brewer working down that backstretch. Down here through turn 1 and 2. He's going to be sitting with a 16.121 for his time at the moment as he comes here out of turn 3 and 4. Brewer lays down a 15.947. I'm sorry, no, Bachman lays down the 15.947. Heat number 1 coming up. John Morano will start first with Anthony Morano starting his outside. Mike Brewer third. Sam Bachman fourth. Trevor Garou there in fifth. Scott Riome there in sixth. Chase Matsko seventh. Steven Bixler there in eighth. Brandon Dittmer there in ninth. Craig Christopherson there in 10th. That is your heat number 1. As drivers get set here, Papa Duke's there in front. Anthony Morano there in second. So the Morano team, or the Morano drivers, have that front row sealed up at the moment. Will it stay that way? As 007 of Sam Bachman is anxious to get rolling. Morano out there in front. Anthony Morano second, Sam Bachman third. Well, actually fourth, because Mike Brewer's third. Down there on the inside, and they come down there along the bottom edge of the racetrack through 3 and 4. Getting ready for the start. As they work here, pace car comes off. Loud pedal gets pressed, and they're down and away. Morano down here in the corner number 1. John Morano down there on the bottom side. Anthony Morano up there on the top side, up there towards that outside cushion. You got the 39 of Mike Brewer down there on the bottom side. Here comes Anthony, as he tries to get down there towards the bottom side. John Morano out front, up there leading it at this point in time as he comes down there off the corner into the backstretch. John Morano out front. Here comes the 39 of Mike Brewer right there to his bumper as Anthony Morano's up there on the high side, way up against that outside wall. Sam Bachman down there on the inside now in that 007 looking underneath the 75T of Trevor Guru. Everybody's balanced 3 wide there as John Morano's out front. Here comes Anthony Morano now to his back bumper here as they come out up to Anthony Morano there in second, Mike Brewer there third. Well, that Regal Wraps machine of Bob Papadukes out there in front, be able to keep a hold of it. He's got 5 laps to do it. As we got that 32 of Anthony Morano up there on the high side, the 390 of Mike Brewer down there on the inside. As Brewer now drops it down there. Here comes Morano back down there to the bottom side of the racetrack in that number 33. As Anthony's back there in third, battling hard as he can. Down here through 3 and 4, down here on the bottom side of the racetrack, John Morano, as he comes out of turn number 4. 3 laps to go for John Morano and company as they come down there through off of turn number 1 and 2. Anthony Morano now battling up there on the outside of Mike Brewer as Brewer's down there on the inside of the racetrack. John Morano's trying to hold on both lanes as they come here off of 3 and 4. 2 laps to go here for John Morano to finish out in front here to give himself the pole for that feature event. But Anthony Morano, he's going to battle it out up there on the high side. Here they come off of 3 and 4. 2 laps to go. Now 1 lap to go. And John Morano out front. Anthony Morano there in second as they come here 3 wide off the corner. There you see that 007 down there along the bottom side of the racetrack. Stan Bachman here as we got a battle between Anthony Morano and John Morano. And John Morano's down there on the inside. And Brewer's down there as well. Boy, what a finish there coming across the line here for heat number 1. If it's any case of how it's going to play out tonight, we're in for a show in the big blocks. All right. Results from heat number 1. It's going to be Anthony Morano getting the win out there in first. John Morano coming in second. Mike Brewer with a great run coming there in third. Trevor Guru there fourth. Sam Bachman fifth. Stephen Bixler there in sixth. Chase Matsko seventh. Scott Rio in eighth with Clay Christopherson in ninth with Brandon Dittmer finishing out your field in 10th. Your grid here for heat number 2. That's going to be Brody Plotz in first. Dean Reynolds there second. Matt Barber in third. Jeff Barker fourth. Dylan Kinsey there in fifth. Bob the Good rolling off in sixth. Brian Moore in seventh. John Dubai there in eighth with Alex Pomalu there in ninth. Dean Reynolds down there out on the outside for FTM. Down there on the inside is out 196 of Brody Plotz. Up the corner they go down here in the corner number 1. Dean Reynolds getting a great start on the outside, getting the pull away a little bit. As Brody Plotz down there on the inside, falls back into second. Matt Barber here in third. Dylan Kinsey down there on the inside underneath of Matt Barber as they roll here out of fourth. Down across the stripe, and Matt Barber getting up there and getting into third as he now guides his way up there into second, trying to give up there to Dean Reynolds. Matt Barber there in second. Dylan Kinsey now up to third as Jeff Barker's falling back a little bit. Here comes that 639, or I'm sorry, no. Oh boy, Brody Plotz, I'm sorry. He's the one falling back a little bit. That's Jeff Barker down there on the inside in that number 513. Come down that front straightaway down in the corner number 1. Matt Barber in second. He's got Dylan Kinsey coming up to him pretty quickly, though, along with Jeff Barker. 5 to go here in heat number 2. Brian Moore back here in 6th. Brody Plotz in 7th. John Dubai there in 9th now as Bob the Good comes coming down there along the bottom side of the racetrack, down here in the corner number 1 and 2. 4 laps to go for Dean Reynolds as he's out front. Matt Barber there second. Down here, Dylan Kinsey and Jeff Barker racing side by side as they run here through 3 and 4. Back out onto that front stretch they go. Down here in the corner number 1. The 513 of Jeff Barker now clinging into third place. But that 639 of Dylan Kinsey's not giving up yet as they roll down the backstretch. Down in the corner number 3, the 639 of Dylan Kinsey up there on the outside of the 397 of the 513 of Jeff Barker. And they battle it out. Alex Pomerleau there in the 397 as he's there trying to figure out which lane will work for him. As they come down here in the corner number 3 and 4. Dean Reynolds out there in front. Matt Barber there in second. Jeff Barker here in third. Dylan Kinsey there fourth. They roll on down through here. Final lap. Here they come out of corner number 2. Who's it going to be? Dean Reynolds out front. Matt Barber there in second. Dylan Kinsey and Jeff Barker battling side by side as they come here off of 3 and 4. And it's going to be Jeff Barker in that 513 taking the third spot away. Waiting on the results to come in. All right, starting here in the consolation. Or I'm sorry, no, this is warm-up. Sorry about that. This is warm-ups. So we'll be back with racing here as soon as warm-ups are over. We'll go ahead and stay here for the 2 minutes and 30 seconds of warm-up just to see how these drivers are getting this track rolled in as these big blocks set here to rip around Eldora tonight. What a night of racing it's been so far here at Coast to Coast Racing Network. As they come here out of turn number 1 on the corner number 2. Off the corner, there you see that 50 or 75T, Trevor Giroux. Mike Brewer being the quickest right now, with Dylan Kinsey there in second. Blake Thompson there third, John Morano fourth. So it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers kind of battle it out here. As you see John Morano, he had a great run in his heat, along with Anthony Morano, who came out and won that heat against his father. As they head on down into corner number 3 and 4. We get through this feature, then it's on to the Pro Late Models. And if you're at Figure Farm TV watching this, go over to Coast Racing Network to catch the full show. Which unfortunately tonight is in a couple different segments, but we'll work on through that. Anthony Morano there is setting the quick time here in warm-up. As you see out there with a 16.032, Sam Bachman there in second. We got Mike Brewer there in third. And they go rolling on through off of the 2. Down here in the 3. Mike Brewer now falls back in the 4th at that 0.75. 75T of Trevor Giroux gets up there to be in the third fastest now within warm-up. 30 seconds to go in the warm-ups. Hopefully everybody's ready for the action here in the feature event of the big blocks here tonight. Out there along the bottom side of the racetrack, that's Trevor Giroux rolling where he can. Down there in the corner number 1. 20 seconds, 15 seconds. We're getting down here to the wire for warm-ups. 10 seconds. Oh man, the action is building. The anticipation is building here as we come down through. As warm-ups are finished, we're getting to the main event of the big blocks session here tonight. And as I said, if you're watching on Figure Farm TV, go ahead and check out Coast to Coast Racing Network, as that show is going to continue on, as this one will come to an end after this, as yours truly will get into the driver's seat for the Pro Late Models. So, starting grid. for the main event. Anthony Morano out front. Dean Reynolds there in second. John Morano will roll off in third. Matt Barber there in fourth. Mike Brewer in fifth. Jeff Barker, he'll roll off in sixth. Trevor Guru in seventh. Dylan Kinsey rolls off tonight in eighth with Sam Bachman in ninth. Alex Pomalu rolls off in 10th. Steven Bixler, he's going to roll off at 11th with the 12th position going to Brian Moore is where he'll be starting. 13th, that's going to be Chase Matsko with Brody Plotz out there in 14th. Scott Riome rolling off in 15th with John Dubai in 16th. Blake Christopherson in that 051 machine. It's going to roll off in 17th with Bob DeGood in 18th. Brandon Dittmer rounding out your field in 19th position here tonight. And pay no attention to that date down there at the bottom. I haven't figured out if there's a way for me to automatically set that or not. So we're just going to delete it there for now. It is not March 20th. This is April 10th. Just realized that. Man, we're in for a night of racing here. They have not disappointed on action at all. Racing action has not been anything to displease any of us here. We got the big blocks here. We're going to go we got 30 laps to go. They hit the lap pedal. What a jump there by Dean Reynolds out there on that high line as Anthony Morano battles back down there on the inside. John Morano there in third. He's got his hands full there as Matt Barber is up there on the high side. Matt Barber really getting it to it as he's up there way up on that cushion. Coming there out of turn 3 and 4. Whoa, hang on to it there, John. You don't want to get too far as we go down here. 3 wide, 4 wide now coming off of turn number 2. Down into corner number 3 and 4. Everybody tries to slide it in there, and they do so. It's a hornet's nest back there behind the leaders as Dean Reynolds gets to lead that lap down here in the corner number 1. Anthony Morano now slides it up there in front of Dean. Dean now crosses over down into the bottom of the racetrack. Comes down into corner number 3. He'll slide it up. Anthony Morano's going to keep it up there. Now he's going to try to cross it over. Coming here out of 4. He will do so. He'll get to lead that lap as they come down here into corner number 1. John Morano, he's going to battle down there on the bottom side of the racetrack underneath the 16 of Matt Barber down the backstretch. Side by side here behind them as Trevor Guru back here in 5th. There's the 513 of Jeff Barker as they battle out here. Coming down through the backstretch. Chase Masco back here in about 14th as they roll back off of corner number 2. Dean Reynolds ended up backing off there of Anthony Morano as they roll down here into corner number 3. Matt Barber still has company there coming up behind him from Trevor Guru. And there you see John Morano's falling back down there on the inside of the racetrack as he tries to get up there to the faster line, up there towards the top. Jeff Barker, he's running that top lane now up there towards the cushion. Down here around Eldora, that is going to be the line that you're most likely going to run, is going to be that top line. And if you can be out front when the race starts and start to hang on to that, that's pretty much where you want to be. As we see Anthony Morano up there in front. You got Dean Reynolds there in second, Matt Barber there in third, Trevor Guru in fourth, Matt Barker. He's running, Jeff Barker is back here in fifth, John Morano in sixth as he battles down there through the middle of the racetrack underneath that 513 down that backstretch. 23 laps to go. Dylan Kinsey back here in eighth, Alex Pomerleau in ninth, Sam Bachman down there on the bottom side of the racetrack now in that 007 as they come here out of turn number 3. And 4 down here in the corner number 1. Anthony Morano still up front. Dean Reynolds there second. Matt Barber there in third. Trevor Guru back there in 4th as he's trying to battle his way up there and gain that traction to get up there towards the leaders. Jeff Barker back here in 5th with John Morano down there on the inside. He's down in front of Mike Brewer as Brewer's going to try to get the bottom side of the racetrack to work underneath of Morano. John Morano is going to be struggling there a little bit. He's just not sure which line he needs to run. Now he's got company from the 639 of Dylan Kinsey as he falls back through the field a little bit more. Here comes Matt Barber trying to run his way up there to second place as he's slowly getting up there to Dean Reynolds, who is currently holding second place down here across the stripe. 19 laps to go. Chase Matsko has crashed. Chase Matsko around here at Eldora. Now there you see it down there on the top side of the race. Oh, there's what happened. Oh boy, he didn't have much time. He really tried to check up, but you can't really hit too hard, otherwise you're going to take drivers out. That was the 75 of Steven Bixer, who was spun around there. See if we can find out where it happened to Steven here. It didn't have the caution out. Well, here we see Steve up there along the top side of the racetrack. He's coming through. He'll get up there into the fluff, up into that outside wall, and he'll just end up, it just loops him. Oh, man, there's just not enough time to react there. As that was full speed there. Man. Type night there for his first night here at the league for Chase Matsko. Get back out there on the racetrack as we're getting ready for the green flag once again. Dean Reynolds up there on the high side. He had a pretty decent start. We'll see if he can copy that here with the restart. As he's sitting there on the outside of Morano. Dean Reynolds is in second. Matt Barber down there on the inside in third as they come down through up turn number 4. Pace car gets on the pit lane, and they are down and away. Morano already away and up there back up to the top side of the racetrack. Down here through turns 1 and 2. Now, as you see, the 16 there, Matt Barber, he's working off the bottom of the racetrack, getting up there in front of the 75T of Trevor Guru. Michael Brewer, he's rolling down there in that number 39, down here in the corner number 1. As we got a few of them already, as yellow flag is out. As we've seen some drivers having trouble. That's Scott Riome, Steven Bixer, and John Dubai. Not sure if that's where the whole caution come out, but we're going to take a look to see if that is where it took place. We got Steven Bixler back here in the 75. And it looks like it's going, oh boy, Bixler upside down. Looks like it's going to start with John Dubai. And at number 21, we'll see how it goes on here. No, it don't. It starts with somebody in front of them. That is the, see if we can figure out who that is. That is the 444 of Scott Riome. We'll see that 007 kind of get a little squirrely there as John Morano gets him squirrely, and it's just a chain reaction behind him. As the caution flag comes out for another time here. Well, it'll most likely be a single file restart this time. Lights still on the pace machine. Well, maybe not. They look like they're going to get ready for a double file restart. They are going to go double file. Dean Reynolds there in second. Trevor Guru there in third. 18 laps to go. Off the corner, Morano gets the gas pedal in there, down and away in the corner number 1. Everybody fighting for position behind them. As you see, Matt Barber back there in third as he's down there underneath of Dean Reynolds. He's down there on the bottom side, but that 75T is Trevor Guru. He's up there in that quicker lane, up there on the top side. And right now, that's where you want to be, as up top as you can. As I don't know if that inside lane, we're down there like with the likes of Jeff Barker. I don't know if that inside's going to work too well here, although the big blocks can get off the corner a little better, but whenever you got guys running that top line as well as these drivers do up here towards the front, I'm just not sure if it's enough. As you see, Dean Reynolds get into the wall a little bit there, coming out of 1 and 2, or through the middle of 1 and 2. You see Morano now dive down there to the bottom side. He's going to run that bottom off and back up there off the corner. He's running top, bottom right here so far in this race at the current time with 14 laps to go here at Eldora. They got the 75T of Trevor Guru down there in fourth. Mike Brewer here in fifth. Oh boy, here comes Matt Barber once again down there on the inside. As he's getting around Matt Barber. 13 laps to go for these drivers. Bob DeGood having issues back here as he's down there on the bottom side. He's got the lights of the leaders coming to him, so he better be careful. You give them plenty of room as they come down here through turns 1 and 2. Up there along the top side of the racetrack, Mike Brewer down there on the bottom side trying to get that to work a little bit. Ends up getting there behind Matt Barber. Matt Barber down there on the bottom side. There goes Mike Brewer up there towards the top side now as he tries to get up there in the fourth by the 75 of, or I'm sorry, the 16 of Brewer. Barber now drops it back down underneath Brewer as they come here in the corner number 3 and 4. Barber up into the outside wall. That might give a little bit. No, he's going to keep that third or fourth spot as they battle side by side. The 75T of Trevor Guru. He's looking to see if he can get around Dean Reynolds at all as they come down here in the corner number 3 and 4. He's getting down there on the bottom side. 3 FTM drivers out there in front. That's Anthony Morano, Dean Reynolds, and Trevor Guru, all running for FTM. And top 4, to be honest with, as you've got Mike Brewer there in 4th place, Matt Barber in 5th. I'm not sure who Matt Barber runs for. As the next FTM sponsored machine I see is back here in 7th. But man, what a night here for FTM in the big blocks. They got first, second, third in the books right at the moment. They come here off the corner. Everybody's slinging dirt wherever they can, trying to get moved up. There you see Dylan Kinsey. He's going to enter low, exit high up here in front of the 397 of Alex Pomerleau. There you now down there on the bottom side of the racetrack, you see that 007 of Sam Bachman as he tries to bring it on up. 3 wide there off the corner as that 513's way down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. That's the 513 of Jeff Barker, the 397 of Alex Pomerleau, and Pomerleau now gets into it with Bachman, ends up into the outside wall, has to try to gather it up, does so, but he's going to lose a little bit as Barker gets by him down there on the inside at the moment. Bachman now running up there in front of Pomerleau. Pomerleau trying to get back around, and he does. He gets around Barker. 5 laps to go as Anthony Morano's out front. Dean Reynolds there second. Trevor Guru there in third. Mike Brewer there fourth. Matt Barber there in fifth. Clayton Stropson there in sixth. Dylan Kinsey in seventh. Sam Bachman in eighth. Alex Pomerleau there in ninth. Jeff Barker back here in 10th. Rolling on down through off of the corner. Here comes the number 79 there of Dean Reynolds rolling around in second, but that 75T of Trevor Guru, it's not going anywhere. John Dubai having issues back here, along with Chase Matsko. Passion is out. See if we can see what happened here. There we'll see it. 26 down there on the bottom side. There you see the 21 of John Dubai coming up off the corner. Down here in the 3 and 4. And it looks like Matsko goes around. Oh no, and the 21 gets into him. Chase parks it. Man, this track is slick tonight. We've got to really have that throttle control here at Eldora. If we're seeing this type of action in the big blocks, I wonder what them pro late models are going to bring us. Dean Reynolds out there in second. Trevor Guru there in third. Clayton Thompson there fourth. They roll on down here out of the corner. Anthony Morano there in first. I believe it's going to be a single file restart here since we only have a couple laps to go. Lights are off, so yeah, a single file restart here as they roll off a corner number 2 back along that back straightaway. Anthony Morano out front. Dean Reynolds there in second. Trevor Guru there in third. Clay Christopherson now up there in the fourth, but Mike Brewer fifth. There you go, top 5 finish for FTM right now. And they come here off of corner number 3 and 4, hitting the loud pedal there. Mike Brewer back there in about 5th position. He's got company, though, all over him as he comes storming there off of corner number 2. Here comes that 639 of Dylan Kinsey. I notice he's got that FTM there as well. Man, this seems to be a field of FTM here in the big blocks. Down here through the front straightaway. In the corner number 1. Anthony Morano up there in front. Dean Reynolds there second. Trevor Guru there third. Clay Christopherson fourth. Mike Brewer back here in fifth. Final lap as they come here off of turn number 4. As Anthony Morano comes across. Trevor Guru there, and this is third. Clay Christopherson fourth. Mike Brewer there in fifth. Matt Barber back there in 6th. Dylan Kinsey there in 7th. Alex Pomerlew back there in 8th. We'll get with our results here as Morano takes it to victory lane. Full Throttle Motorsports taking the podium. Feature results. Gonna be Anthony Morano with Dean Reynolds there in 2nd. Trevor Guru there in 3rd. Clay Christopherson there 4th. Mike Brewer in 5th. Matt Barber there in 6th. Dylan Kinsey in 7th. Alex Pomerlew there in 8th, with Jeff Barker finishing 9th. Brian Moore rounding out your top 10 with Scott Riom in 11th. Brody Plotz there in 12th. Sam Bachman there 13th. John Morano finishes tonight in 14th, with John Dubai there in 15th. Chase Matsko there 16th. Bob the Good in 17th. Back behind that, in 18th, that's going to be Steven Bixler with Brandon Dittmer finishing tonight in 19th. That is your finishing order here. Let's get with those interviews before we get going with the Pro Late Models. Good evening there, Trevor. How's it going?
Good, yourself?
It's going pretty well. I'm glad we got to finish this whole race, unlike the first one, but you had a great run out there running in 3rd place, and looks like you and your teammates did a great job at getting them cars down in, as it looked like there was 5 Full Throttle Motorsports cars up there in the top 5.
Yeah, I think we swept the top 5 tonight, which is pretty awesome. It's that's pretty cool to do. I'm pumped for the guys.
Well, you took 3rd, so you have to be feeling pretty good about that, considering the competition all around you.
Yeah, kind of buried myself there in qualifying and didn't really get a good finish in the heat, so I knew I had my work cut out for me. But car felt good. Started on the bottom and was making some moves, and once I saw an opening, just moved to the top, and I knew that's where everyone was going to be. So battled it out with Matt there for a while. Good race to him. And yeah, this car was pretty quick. It's tough to run the top when you got a little more power in these big blocks. It's tough to stay out of that wall when you're running the top, especially when it gets pretty thin. But definitely happy with another podium.
Well, it's always great to have podium finishes, that's for sure, especially when you got to stiff competition as we do here at Coast to Coast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So who's your sponsors and shout-outs here tonight for getting you in that 3rd place?
First and foremost, I want to give a shout-out to everybody at FTM Full Throttle Motorsports. I'm really happy to be a part of this group. It's a great group of guys, and I appreciate every single one of them for welcoming me in. I couldn't be happier to be in the position I'm in right now, and it's a really good group of guys here. So thanks to everyone at FTM. I'm glad we put on a good show tonight for everybody. Shout out to Dean Reynolds with the Super Dirt Car Series, Expert Installation, Castleberry Flagstone, Shaggy TV, Swan Speed Shop, everybody on this car. Appreciate every single one of you. I'm sure there's more I'm missing, but appreciate everybody for doing this, and just want to give a quick shout out to Kelly Wheeler. He's got a family member who's not doing so well right now, so just want Kelly to know that I'm thinking about him and keeping him in my thoughts and prayers. Wishing for the best for him.
Alrighty, well, we definitely will keep him in our thoughts and prayers here at Plager Farm TV, and I'm sure as well as the Coast to Coast Racing Network here. Congrats on 3rd place tonight, and hopefully will we see you in the Pro Late Models?
Yes, absolutely.
Alrighty, well, you'll see me down on track tonight. We'll see how well we do.
Sounds good, man. See you there. Thank you.
All right, that was Trevor finishing third tonight. Dean Reynolds, how's it going?
What's going on, Adam? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Now that my internet seems to have stabilized, I don't know what was up during that first race tonight, but we got it fixed. We're running, and we're doing good. You had a great run here, though, in this feature there, but unfortunately didn't quite have enough to get by your teammate there, Anthony Morano.
No, and for me to get by Anthony when he's on, he's just got to make a mistake. And, we were trading sliders early, and I'm like, you know what? It's lap 2. I'm too old. I'm too tired. I can't trade sliders all race. So I just said I'm going to stay behind him and hopefully stay close enough to, if he makes a mistake in the wall or something, I can get by him and hold him off. But, I think actually that's probably the third best car tonight in the big blocks. I think Trevor's a little bit faster than me, too. But, Eldora is tough. It can get one lane dominant up top. And although I heard Clay was making some moves down on the bottom, but had a good run. I'm happy with it. Anytime you get a podium amongst your teammates, that's really cool.
Yeah, you definitely had. Clay definitely did a great run as he was up 13 spots from where he started. So he must have found something somewhere.
Clay is probably the best to come through traffic. He can put the car where no one else is and take advantage of that and really move up. And, shows how good of a talent he is.
Well, he come up 13 spots to finish fourth amongst you guys up there in the top 5. So great run there by all you guys there tonight for FTM.
Yeah, no, we have a good bunch of guys. They're a lot of fun. And, some of us race a little bit more than others. But, we're all getting together. And, we'd like to welcome Trevor Giroux to our team. We signed him on last week. So, it's been a great addition, a lot of fun. And but, we pride ourselves on, yes, we want to win. We want to be fast. And we try to be as clean as we can. We all make mistakes. We all do. Everyone does. But, it looked like these 2 races were very clean. I think we had 3 yellows in the first one and 2 in the second one. So when you get a full field of cars and only have those few yellows, everyone did everything right.
Yeah, it was a lot of great racing action tonight between all the big block, all the modified racing here tonight. So we'll see how the Pro Late models go.
Yeah, and I think they'll go well as well too, because Pro Late models will be fun here at Eldora. But it's good to see the big block numbers up. We're getting ready to do a Super Dirt Modified Week here in May, and I got the flyer done. I'm going to start soliciting that, and hopefully we can get a lot of people to run that event too for Honor House for charity. And I think the modifieds are become a mainstay here in Coast to Coast along with the sprint cars.
Oh, that's great to hear. And you got any other sponsors or shout-outs you want to thank for getting up there in second place?
Oh, yeah, always the Full Throttle Motorsports guys. Got to thank them. Got to thank, my employers, Super Dirt Car Series, World of Outlaws, and Dirt Vision for, let me have a job so I can afford to do a little bit of this on my spare time. And Adam, thank you and Flieger Farm Management for doing the broadcast, so our families and friends can watch us at home. And, we really appreciate that. And thanks to Coast for helping out, but, with the giving us a place to race, too. I mean, there's a lot of Jack Hitt and Jeff Barker behind the scenes, are doing the ship now. And, they're really getting their bearings together and doing a great job. And, proud to be part of that. And, got to thank a lot of other people like DJ Sim Shop, Swan Speed Shop, Expert Installations. There's a lot of people that help FTM out as well to keep us coming to the racetrack.
All righty. Well, congrats on second place, and we'll see you in the Pro Lates.
All right, Adam. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, out with Dean Reynolds. Now we'll get with Anthony Morano, our winner here in Victory Lane. Good evening there, Anthony. How's it going?
Hey, Mr. Flieger. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I know I'm getting hyped up for the Pro Late models that are following us after seeing all the action that's taking place so far tonight.
Yeah, it's looking like we're getting a pretty good car count in here, too, so that's going to be awesome.
Well, we look forward to that, but congrats on getting the victory here in the big blocks. I know you and your father, and I forget who the third guy was that was really battling out there in Heat 1 of the big blocks tonight, but come out here in the feature and put down a show and pretty much just kept it out front the whole way.
Yeah, I was Mike Brewer down there peeking his nose under. I kept seeing him down there. Every time I look left, I just see his door. I'm like, oh, crap. No, Papa Duke's running a pretty good heat race there. He's I was saying in Discord, it was like Daytona or Talladega. He was just the leader, and the two cars just kept blocking the lines and taking the air. So it was really hard to pass there. I just stuck my car in a spot there. I don't think he was expecting me to be at his right rear, and little contact, but that'll happen. So hopefully he doesn't get too mad about it. But it wasn't nothing intentional, just a racing deal. So. But yeah, car was good all night. I got a lot of laps here running with like the late models and stuff for like the spring fling this past year. So see how we do here in the pros, and should be pretty good.
Alrighty, well, who's your shout outs and sponsors you want to make sure get recognized for helping you get victory position here tonight?
I got my wife Sherry, the boys over at FTM, Super Dark Car, Swan Speed Shop, I'm on Lens, DJ Sim Shop, Vertex Graphics, Expert Installation, Shaggy TV. Adam, you for coming out here and doing a broadcast for us and everyone at Coast to Coast.
Alrighty, well, congrats on that victory here as we get set and ready for the Pro Late Models.
All right, thanks a lot, Adam.
Well, that was Anthony Morano, our winner here. Now we'll go and get ready for the Pro Lates. Good evening, Shaggy. How's it going?
Oh, could be better, Adam. I did find my warranty for my wheelbase, though. But, man, I was excited to race for you tonight. There at the end of warm-ups of the mods, my wheel decided to shut off on me mid-warm-ups. That was no fun.
Well, you had a pretty decent run going there in the 358s until that happened.
Yeah, just bouncing around a little bit in the heat races. I don't want to, push anybody out that's running for points. So I kind of just fell to the back, made sure I got in the show. But I was up there on the warm-up times. I felt like I had a good race car, and then all of a sudden my wheelbase told me, hey, you're not going to race tonight. You're just going to sit up in the booth.
Yeah, unfortunately, technical issues like that can happen.
Yeah, it never happens at a good time either, it doesn't seem like. But, hey, when
does it ever?
Yeah. No kidding.
When does it ever happen at a good time? But we look forward to getting into the Pro Late Models here tonight and seeing how well they can pack this track with action. As they've had quite a bit of action so far tonight. I mean, we've gone 3 wide, 4 wide in the 358s. We're going 3 wide in rig blocks. I mean, there's just action all over the racetrack.
Yeah, definitely one of those tracks that, kind of wears different every time you're here. It can promote some train racing, but at the same time, you can open up the bottom lane, especially through 3 and 4, and see guys really go for some big sends. So here with the late models, only have 12 guys right now, but it still should be a pretty good one here.
Well, it's going to be fun nonetheless. That just means I'm making the show.
Yeah, that's got to be the attitude. It just means you're going to make the feature.
So, already, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get ready for that 358. I mean, not 358, the Pro Late Models.
Yeah, almost ready on my end. I am typing it in as we speak, Adam. Sorry, so keep it open for just another second or two, and we'll be good to go.
Alrighty, like I said, we're pretty excited to get ready for the Pro Late Models.
Alrighty, I am good now on my end, Adam.
Alrighty, you want to get